happiness at any cost, but certainly not at others' cost. Okay.
Yes.
So somebody like it, perhaps they would have undergone, they would have faced this in their lives, so they can relate to what I mentioned. So let me ask a question to you. This book is all about 30 easy, I won't say easy, very simple. Easy, simple means to derive happiness. Are you somebody who will also derive happiness through these simple, easy tasks, or you need something very exotic? Be very, very frank about it.
Bala, I'm the kind of person, I am very easily pleased and I'm genuinely happy. Like in my webinars, like I was doing a webinar for a client and somebody in the Q&A asked me, how come you've been smiling for 1 hour? How come? So I said, because I'm happy doing this. My work makes me happy. I'm sure one can fake a smile, but you can tell. So for me to be happy is very easy. Like, taking a spiritual trip makes me happy. It gives me a store of happiness that can last a year. Like if I travel and go on an adventure with somebody like Bhiku and so on, even if it's a 1 week trip, I can last on it a full year. Like, for example, I love this one, travel with family and friends and even alone at times. Like in my international travels, I take my mother. I tell you, it makes me so happy that if money could buy something and I buy a holiday and take my mother along, like, when the Frankfurt Book Fair was happening, you must come next time. We were planning last year to go. So with the whole publishing industry, we make a group. So we go to Frankfurt and from there we go to another country. Because you've gone so far and the whole, you make friends with authors and publishers and editors. So they made this whole WhatsApp group and they said, we'll go to Croatia. So everybody was sending pictures of Croatia. After Frankfurt, we will go there. So at one point I replied, I wrote saying, I showed the pictures to my mother. She is so excited. And then the messages began to come, mother, ? Where did mother come in the middle? And I said, my mother is my travel buddy. They refused. They put me out of the group. They said, if you will bring your mother to Croatia, our parents will say, why didn't you take us?
Take us.
So I was abandoned from the group. But the thing is, that's my happiness, that I could take my mother along and we have memories, not regrets. And I think if you can look back and you have no regrets, that's real happiness, that I don't regret.
This point is again broad, you said if you can recollect the flashback mode, see, end of the day, I firmly believe that one has to create good memories in their own lives. It is your responsibility. And you get into a flashback mode sometimes. I mean, everybody thinks about the past, how often we talk about our college days, school days, or the great times that you had with your family members or friends. And the first customer that you acquired, if you're in business, the first employment. I mean, you always keep talking about the past, which means what? There have been some fabulous moments in the past, and you always love to recall them. So that's why I keep telling through the book, I'm telling the readers, and I also keep generally telling my own circle that please create good moments today, because tomorrow you need a good flashback. In fact, I posted something like this in your Instagram very recently. When you had posted something, maybe one of your travel destinations. I saw that. I said, great, Priya, and get into the flashback mode. Something like that I mentioned because I could recollect it. So now let me jump into your story. This wise man said affected me a bit, okay, that story. But is there anything, is there any real incident around it? Like whether you really traveled to a destination, met people like this, or...
No, surprisingly, I never traveled to any of the destinations I've written about. I've not even been to Hemkund Sahib. I have written about that. But, I'm a loner. So as much as my work involves a lot of people, I meet people for a living. I speak to like 500,000 people, about 10,000 people in a month. But the minute that's over, I spend time with myself. I don't watch TV. I don't know anything that goes on television or the news. Nothing. I don't watch at all. So I like to spend time with myself. I keep creating, as I'm a creator. So right now I'm learning to play guitar. I'm learning mixed media painting. So my imagination takes me places. So even if you were 15 minutes late, I'm very happy. I can think of something else. I'm always writing. I have notebooks and diaries, you know, so, and I create places. So in the lockdown, although I'm not traveling physically, I have gone a lot of places in my mind.
Imaginary places. These are all imaginary
yes.
places.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I feel people show glimpses of greatness, people show glimpses of goodness, and then it disappears. So what I do is I hold on to that if this was the entire personality of that person, then how would it be? Then it would be Sammy. So my grandfather has been a very big inspiration for me, and therefore a lot of my teachers' personalities, I keep playing with that, you know, different segments of him. But I feel that we have a lot of teachers, but in mythology. So I like to make my teachers very real life, very relatable. Somebody who's also quirky, who's also funky, who'll take your bag, neon bag, and walk with you. I'd listen to that guy. Versus a saint, I may be a little skeptical that come live my life, you know, in my situation, and tell me how you would use this. Come live it first. Don't tell me, you go figure. So I create these quirky, nice characters who are my own inner guidance. Sometimes we don't listen to ourselves. You know, we know the right thing to do. So for me, that part of me that knows the right thing to do is the wise man. So I just externalized him.
Great. You know, another question. When I wrote Jujube, primarily I wrote because I found a lot of people, I still find a lot of people cribbing without any reason. So I wanted to tell them that be grateful in life. Yeah, so that was the trigger for me to write. But as I wrote, I was actually telling myself also, guy, you should also not crib. Okay, this is like when I write, I also talk. This book, at least, I was talking to myself. Rajini's Panchchandra, I was talking to myself. And when you write, especially on all this spiritual search, the wanderer in you, when you write, is there anything that you're telling yourself, or it is primarily, guys, this is what is great, and this is what you have to explore, and so on? Or are you also advising yourself? Do you also get into that frame of mind when you write like that?
Bala, I have written all books only for myself. These are stories that I tell myself. I have a question that's troubling me. So I give that problem to my character and I solve it through the character. You know, it's easy to solve other people's problems. So I give all my problems to my characters. Then I solve it and I say, now this is what I can also do. Fabulous. So I don't write my books for anybody. And the beauty of it is because it helps me, somehow it also helps others.
Perfect. No, I want to know whether I'm alone. Okay, in my thought process, I'm not alone. And congratulations, Priya. This is, again, I see soon to be a web series in Z5.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. And this is the second or third?
The second book.
Second one.
Yes.
Second one, which is getting into a web series.
Yes,
fabulous,
yes.
fabulous.
The thing about being a motivational speaker is that people expect you to be like that all the time. You know, the expectation from me is I am superhuman, that I can never be sad, that I shouldn't have problems, you know, and God forbid, if I ever tell in my house, you know, I'm a little tense, they'll say, tum to sabko batati ho, you know, you tell everybody. So how can you have a problem kind of thing? It's unreal to them. And now that you've written a book on happiness, I think people around you will somehow have this expectation that you are forever happy, that you go read your own book, you know, you've written 30. So I think writing a self-help book or being in the genre of self-help, like in my profession. So I was saying that in the genre of self-help, it puts you on this pedestal of responsibility that you have to walk your talk. You know, like, for example, there was a book that was released by a CEO. I won't tell you the name of the book, otherwise you'll know who I'm talking about. But it also was very high on a topic, and his own employees got so upset that, look, what you have written and what you do are two different things. He had the highest attrition that year. Because people were upset that the genre of self-help, it pushes you to walk the talk. You know, and you have written on happiness. So I think you have put yourself in a position that starting this moment till the rest of your life, you and your happiness will be ensured.
You're right, but there are enough criticisms that flow. Let me be very open. Starts at home itself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So my son comes and says, "Pa, you write like this, you talk to people like this, but whereas you behave differently." I said, "Please warn me. Please warn me. First of all, I am also human here, but I have transformed. What I was 10 years back, am I not different? I get an acknowledgement from my wife, my sons. Yeah. Now you are better than what you were earlier." So, but believe me, this is why I said I'm also writing to myself when I write, especially these types of books. That's why I quoted only 2 books on this fiction. I mean, nothing like that, but these 2 books, Rajini's Panchatantra and Jujube.